So the first thing I'm going to teach you is what I call the sage breath. Sage, S-A-G-E. It's a kind of equilibrium breath that has a few effects. And let me outline those. One of them is to wake up sensation in the palate, the roof of the mouth, and enable you to tell where the back of the hard palate is and where the soft palate begins. The sage breath opens breathing and opens the head and nasal passages for breathing. It's a way of correcting shallow breathing and for preparing you for the later stages of the tongue mudra practice. And the sage breath itself is extremely simple. You coincide two tongue positions, you match up or synchronize two tongue positions with the breathing action. You press the tongue snugly up against the roof of the mouth during exhalation, and you separate the tongue from the roof of the mouth and bring it low into the jaw. You press the tongue downward, making the mouth hollow during inhalation. And so there's an alternate pressing up and lowering down action of the tongue, which, as you practice, you'll feel opens up your breathing. It opens up the abdominal cavity and the chest cavity. At your first practice experience of the sage breath, you will feel these sensations to some degree. I anticipate with practice that they will become, as they did for me, larger and larger, more and more pronounced. So with that, let's launch into the sage breath, and I'm going to coach you through it at the beginning and then give you time to do it without listening, just directly experiencing. So begin this way. Press the flat of your tongue up against your palate. Make it snug front to back, where by back I mean where your molars, your back teeth end. And rub your tongue forward and back. Create a sensation in your palate. Locate what your palate feels like. Do that now. You may notice that not all of your tongue wants to contact your palate at the same time. So practice getting your entire tongue to press up against your palate as you rub forward and backward. You can start by taking whatever part of your tongue most easily presses your palate and notice what parts aren't touching. And as you rub forward and back, add those locations. This will take a little coordination, a little practice. So be patient about that. Notice that your lower jaw wants to help by moving the same direction as your tongue. Help your jaw move exactly the way your lower jaw wants to move. Now, the palate is the roof of the mouth, but the floor of the nose. Directly above the palate is the air space of the nasal passage. Notice how rubbing your tongue forward and back while pressing your palate affects the hollow of your nasal cavity, your nasal passage. Okay, let me know if you need more time to get the sensations that I've referred to. Okay, So now let's begin the pressing up with the tongue and the lowering down of the tongue action. Let's just do the tongue part apart from the breathing at first. So you press your tongue snugly from the tip of the tongue all the way through the center and back of your tongue. And then maintaining contact with the tip of your tongue, make your tongue like a spoon, hollow at the top, and draw your tongue away from your palate. A small move is adequate at the beginning. Notice that when you drop your tongue, your nasal passage opens a bit. When you raise your tongue, when you raise your tongue, your nasal passage closes a little bit. You just alternate lifting and pressing, keeping the tongue tip in contact with the roof of the mouth as you lower and alternate. Get a little better at that. Now, slow down the tongue action to be in pace with your breathing. So as you inhale, keeping the tongue tip in contact, draw your tongue down. And as you exhale, bring the flat of your tongue against your palate. And gradually increase the amount by which you lower your tongue. You pull your tongue away from your palate. Synchronized with breathing. Exhaling, pressing your tongue upward. Inhaling, drawing your tongue downward. Now you may notice that you're getting a little buzz in your head, maybe a little lightheaded, in which case relax your breathing a bit. You might be just hyperventilating a little. But understand that the opening of breathing from the sage breath may charge you a little bit this way. And just accept it. Now continue the sage breath and notice that as you bring the flat of your tongue up against the palate, you can feel with your tongue your backmost upper molars, backmost upper teeth. When you drop your tongue, you come out of contact with that. When you raise your tongue up against the palate, you feel it again. Locate the back edge of your upper rear teeth each time you lift. Keep your tongue tip in contact.